Welcome back to the next part in the building the Rick and Morty app series. In the last part, we basically went wild and copy and pasted basically all the stuff we have written for the character list, view, and controller for the episode tab. And because of that, we're not actually compiling at the moment. We can't build our project. We're gonna fix all this hopefully in this video. So start by hitting that like button as per usual, and let's continue onward. So we have a bunch of errors here in our copy and pasted episode list view model. What I'm gonna go ahead and do here is we're just gonna go basically down the list of all the code in here and fix everything because this is a little absurd if I don't say so myself. So here we are creating a episode collection view cell view model. That is actually not the correct type here. We have a view model for the cell that we used for episodes earlier. We want to actually create that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the proper view model, and we want to create it with a episode data URL. And we can do that by saying episode.url, which is the string, and we want to get the URL variant of that. So we can do that. Here we're checking if the array of cell view models contains that particular view model, and it's yelling at us because this view model does not in fact conform to hashable and or equatable. And if you guys recall, we had added both of those to the character view model so we can do that check. So let's actually make this hashable and equatable, and I'm going to do it down here. So we're going to say hash into. That's not what we want. We want hash into, and this is going to yell at me to autocomplete in the equatable function, which is the equal function. And I'm going to move that down here as well. And we're basically just going to say hasher.combine, and this will be the self.episode URL absolute string, otherwise there's an empty string. This should absolutely never be nil, so we should never hit this empty string case. And here we're going to say return LHS dot hash value equals the right RHS dot hash value. And if we come back to this view model now, and if you try to compile, you'll notice that, let's see, are we in the right thing? Yep, episode list view model, that the error on this check here on line 30 has gone away. So we're not remotely done to or close to being done yet. What we want to do is we want to now update this. So we have currently a response in this file for, rather a model for the response that we get for this API call. We want to create a response that we get for the episode list API call. So let's open up our models. And let's see where I put it. I think I put it in the response types. Makes sense. Let's create a new Swift file in here. And this is going to be get all episodes response. Let's go ahead and create it. And I'm just going to see if I can actually copy and paste it because it should be fairly similar. So this is actually the response that we get back. We have info with count pages next and previous. Very similar. We have info, count, pages, next, and previous. Let's make sure we just don't forget to rename this with our copy and paste episodes. And down here, our info is info, and our results is not an array of characters, it's an array of episode objects. So cool, so let's go back to the RM episode list view model. Once again, Command-Shift-O to open up this search box thing, and let's change the type here. Alrighty, so here we have fetch characters. This is actually not what we want. We want to fetch the episode. So I'm going to Command F and replace this. We're going to change this to fetch episodes. It's extremely important that you name things appropriately because it gets wildly confusing later on. And here we want to say return the rm get all episodes response. That's the type that we want back. And we should see this error down here go away. We're going to say self.episodes is our results. That error should go away. And at the moment, we're doing the list characters requests. Let's go ahead and change this to be a list episode request. Episodes request. And I realize this shouldn't be plural up here. We'll fix that later on. So this will be an RM request where the endpoint is going to be for episodes. So this is going to be list episode request like that. And down here, we actually did change the name of the function. So we want to go ahead and just change the name of the function call as well. We'll get that error to go away. Let's also change the documentation string, the doc string here, while we are at it so we don't forget to do so. So here we have fetch additional characters. I am going to find and replace this as well to fetch additional episodes because we want to support pagination here as well, or pagination, depending on how you say it. And inside of here, let's actually change this documentation as well. Inside of here, we don't actually need to do much. We're creating a request. It's actually identical, which leads me to believe that, well, this is different, I guess, rm get all episode, the response type. But because a lot of this is duplicated, this does lead me to believe that we can probably reuse this code if we put it in a shared spot. So let me update this. This should be episodes. And we're creating the index paths. This should be episodes as well. And this is did load more episodes, just like that. And we are in pretty good shape. No errors there anymore. Let's continue down here. We are returning the proper set of view model count, which is correct. Here, what we want to do is we want to actually use a rm character episode collection view cell. And this thing has a cell identifier on it. We want to cast it to the appropriate cell. And then we also want to configure with the appropriate view model, which is good to go. Over here, we have a collection view, and it can't find the type because we want to import UIKit. All right, and actually a bunch of these errors should go away because we didn't have UIKit before. We're going to use the exact same footer for the spinner when the user scrolls down. This will be the same for now. We're going to use the same size for the cell. And actually, maybe we'll go ahead and change for the footer. We'll change the height here of the cell. Maybe we'll go ahead and say times 0.8 for the height. And let's see what else is going on here. So this is did select episode. All right, this is episodes. And this is selection is what I'll call it. And we'll pass in the selection like so. And let's see, so I think we don't have any more errors. So let's try to build. And it looks like we still do have some errors, and I think they're going to be in our view. So let's jump into the view and let's take care of these. So we are assigning the delegate to self. Let's see if we are conforming to that delegate. Looks like we are not. And the reason we're not is we need to rename all of this jazz. So did select episode, where, and actually the smarter thing to do would just be to have it autocomplete. So we're going to say did select episode. I'll paste this in and comment it out. And here we are going to say did load initial episodes, did load more episodes. Go ahead and compile, and it looks like we still have an issue. Did load more episodes, and let's see why that is. Looks like we have a error here, and it's saying that we cannot assign it to self for some reason. So let's find out why the heck that is. I do think we are appropriately conforming here, but let me, just in case, have Xcode fix it for me in case I did screw something up. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll hit the error, and I'm going to hit fix. And we still have the error here because of these, so we'll copy and paste the implementations. So this one is did select, I'll move that there. This one is did load initial. This is when the initial episodes will load in. And this one is where we want to paginate and bring in more content. All right, let's try to compile. We still have an error. Something is fishy. So let's see what's going on. So let's see what view we're extending here. So this is extending the RM episode list view, which is in fact correct. And it's saying that we need to, what do we need to do? So this is the RM episode list view delegate. That's what this delegate here is. And the type of this view models delegate, let's see what that is. That is the RM character list view. I think the view model we forgot to actually update. So inside the RM episode list view, this should now be the episode specific variant of this view model. It looks like we still have an error, so let's see what the heck is going on. Okay, there's no fetch characters, there's fetch episodes, makes sense. All right, we're compiling, which is awesome. Now, before we give it a run, we do want to change the cell that's registered here. It is a RM character episode collection view cell. So just don't forget to update that appropriately. And then this thing has a cell ID on it. And let's actually run it and see if this actually works or if it just crashes. I will be really happy if it works. So we'll go to episodes, and if you look at that, it actually does work, which is awesome. So I actually see a couple issues here. One is the fact that the way this layout is done, things are getting cut off and it doesn't really look the nicest. But let's see if we're able to paginate. And in fact, we are able to paginate. So one takeaway here is because we did so much copy and pasting, and let me actually see what this warning here is about. It's about this error that we're not handling. Because we did so much copy and pasting, this leads me to believe that we can have a base view and make it configurable. So maybe we'll clean this up later on. But before I end this video, one thing I do want to do is for did select episode, let's at least call our delegate function that we have written out and just pass up our selection. And let's see if we can select an episode. So this was probably the hackiest video in this series, but we can in fact select it. And we built out this whole view by more or less just stealing all the code and characters, which is pretty awesome. So let's end the video here and just do a brief recap. We essentially just copy and pasted all of the elements for the character list, the view model, the list, the controller, and we just renamed everything. The most important bit here is the business logic going on in the RM episode list view model, particularly the logic around fetching the initial set of episodes as well as fetching additional episodes. So in here we have all of this logic to basically figure out, how many more cells to add. I would actually move this into a shared place since the exact same code is being used for characters or anything else we want to paginate. So I will pause there, drop a like before clicking away. Let me know in the comments if you had any issues. If you are hitting weird crashes, like quadruple check your copy and paste and renaming, because I'm certainly guilty of absolutely screwing that up. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next part.